You know what? It's a Blue Jay thing. Well, hey everyone, how you doing? This is Ken Judge, and I'm here on Ken's Corner podcast. And guess what? We're in October. We're going to talk about baseball, guys. We're going to talk about baseball. With me, I got Joe right here in my hometown, Stouffville, and my partner on Whistle Radio. Gord, welcome back from Scarborough. Gord from Scarborough. It's great to see you back, Gordon. And George out there in Calgary. We're going to get your thoughts on the what the people out west are feeling about the Toronto Blue Jays, and if it's truly a Canadian team. All right, so we're going to start. Joe, you're up first. We just got beat 2 games in a row, or was it three? I can't really remember back that far. But we were coming into that last game against Boston. And what was your feeling going into that game when we knew the Yankees were just surging? They were gonna make it there. They're gonna push us the whole way, and that, I mean, it came to fruition. That's exactly what did happen. But what were your thoughts when you thought, we got 4 games left, and we don't really have room for losing him? Here we are. We got Boston, who just kicked the crap out of us for a couple of games, and we got Tampa Bay, who's done the same thing to us all year. Your thoughts before that game?
Well, you know what? Growing up in Toronto, being part of the sports scene, you get accustomed to seeing your team just do that Toronto thing and crash and burn when they need it the most, and do things the hard way. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was in that mindset going, they're letting this get away from them. It's such a Toronto thing to do. They had it in a bag and they let it go. But you know what? And we'll talk about it all playoff series. They've made believers out of everybody, because just when you think that they're down and out, put a fork in them, they find a way to get the job done. And it's not just one guy; it's a bunch of guys. And I think that we'll talk about a lot about that. And I think that's what I love the most about this team. We're not relying on 2 guys; we're relying on the whole team. And it goes down the list. Any given night, a guy has stepped up to help us win. So, lesson learned for me: don't count the Jays out, because they're that kind of team this year.
Okay, thank you. That's a great answer. Gord, so I had someone come up to me during the season, and they were like, Vladdy Guerrero is not impressing me. Why did the Blue Jays just sign this guy for like 15 years for like $500 million? How are they ever going to get value from that? You know what I said to him? When he comes to playoff times and Vladdy comes out and hits the way that Vladdy can, who's going to remember what happened during the season? Your thoughts on Vladdy Guerrero against the New York Rangers? I mean, New York Yankees. Goddamn, still talking hockey here. Your thoughts against the damn
You're still talking
Yankees?
hockey there, Ken, eh?
Yeah,
Playing for the Leafs, is that what you're saying?
yeah, exactly.
I think he just does Vladdy things. I think, honestly, top to bottom, the whole lineup proves the point that Joe was saying earlier. It's not one guy. You can single Vladdy out because of the contract. Go ahead. But if you look at one through nine, I mean, they've all played as a unit. They're not. It's not an individual game anymore like they were playing the last 5, 7 years, where it had to be one guy that did everything. I think Vladdy's realized that he doesn't have to do everything. He can go up there, single, double. If he hits the homer, fantastic. But I think all around he knows that he's got the guys behind him now that have no problem doing the same thing, swinging, single, double. I mean, for the longest time there, that's how they were winning games. They were winning 4-3 games on a double by Ernie Clement or Addison Barger. Getting these guys around pretty quickly to get the top of the lineup to come up to Springer, Vladdy, Bichette, so forth. I think
Mm,
if you're gonna single one guy out, you gotta single out the whole team. Honestly,
yeah, exactly. George, so let's fast track a little bit here, and we're going to talk about this Seattle series, Seattle Mariners, and the big dump, also known as fat ass in my eyes. But anyway, that's besides the point. Just my own little quirk, I guess. But anyway, so Seattle came out and they beat the Jays pretty good in those first 2 games. I think there was what, 2 hits combined in 2 games by the Jay hitters right there in Toronto. What were the thoughts going around Calgary during that time about the Toronto Blue Jays?
Well, I want to tell you something. Um, I'm a George Springer fan, And this man, throughout the whole starting of the season, all the way through, he put this team on his back, and he's my MVP for the season. I know he's a hometown guy, Vladdy. He's a big man, hits a lot, does a lot. Good first baseman, but Springer did it for me. So I'll stop with that. And coming in with the Mariners that's the question, right?
Yeah, there's only been a handful of teams that have actually come back and done what the Jays just did to Seattle. So were you surprised, like when they went down by 2 games to Seattle? Were you feeling like, oh no, it's the Leafs again, and we're gonna just lose this series?
No, no, no. But the game 7, I did turn channel, and my wife said, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm turning channel. I can't do it no more." I turned channel. She goes, "Oh, you're doing a suspicious thing, are you?" I said, "Yep." I turned channel. I turned it back. Springer hit a home run. Won the game for us, won game 7, and go Jays go.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. I'm gonna ask you guys to, and I'm gonna give you a couple of options. A big Joe Carter home run, the Edwin Encarnacion to get us to the ALCS way back when, the Joey Bats bat flip, or the George Springer home run that ranked them, Joe. But first, Joe, we're gonna talk about this series against Seattle. How the heck did Toronto come back? Like I just said, they just won 4-5, and that's very rare after going down by 2 and being dominated. And how did the Jays get this done? Like that Seattle team is pretty full of guys that could hit really well. A lot of home runs on that team.
The bottom of the order. That's what
Yeah,
got us through. Nathan Lucas, Ernie Clement, Addison Barger. Seattle didn't have that. They were relying on Cal Raleigh
Jimenez.
there and maybe another guy. And once we solved those guys and didn't pitch to them, they had nothing. Their bottom of the order didn't stack up to the Jays, and I think that was the difference. And the Jays, I thought whoever wins game 4 will win the series. The Jays took game 4, and from that point on, I was confident being down 2 games at home, heading to Seattle. No, I wasn't confident, but I thought, you know what, nice run. They've exceeded expectations. So no matter what happens, maybe they can win a couple. But when they won game 4, my feelings changed, and I thought, no, they're right in this, and they can easily take this now because I didn't see anything from the bottom half of Seattle's order and our guys. I mean, Nathan Lucas, how many hits did that guy have? You're like, hey, get another one. Ernie Clement, another one.
come
Like,
on.
Yeah.
man, oh man,
Commanders
that's what
batting
did it in the
500.
Yankees. They're all waiting for Aaron Judge to step up, and if you can shut down Judge, there was no one else we needed to worry about.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Josh Naylor sure gave us a run for our money. I wish that
Yeah.
Mississauga boy was playing in Toronto. Wouldn't that have been something else? But I mean, Gord. So the Jays came back, and what was your favorite moment of that comeback streak where we won 4-5 games? What was your MVP moment, your TSN, Ken's Corner? Let's call it Ken's Corner turning point.
I think it was the honestly and truly, I think it was. You're not going to hear it a whole lot, but Dalton Varsho going 4 for 5 in the one game. Uh, again, like Joe said, the bottom of the lineup, you had Varsho, Clement, Jimenez, all batting around. I think that was my turning point. Was everybody was talking about Vladdy's home run? Varsho went 4 for 5, 3 doubles and a single, and nobody heard about it. You didn't hear regarding what he did. It was all about the Vladdy home run. I think you're looking at this team, the comeback. That's why you had Vladdy, you had Kirk, you had Varsho, you had them all basically getting to the 7, 8, 9 hitter just to turn around and come right back again to George Springer at the top of the lineup to get it all rolling again.
Yeah.
I would say I'm glad that Schneider did not bring Little in game 7 because I think he would have this team.
Yeah,
I really,
actually, I really enjoyed it. Yes, I really enjoyed seeing Kevin Gosman and and who else came in for us? Pardon me?
Chris Bassett came
Oh yes,
in.
Chris Bassett and Kevin Dawson. What were your feelings when you seen those guys out there? Were you thinking we're not playing around now?
I think it was in every next man up. I think that's the way they've played all year long is next man up. You get up there, pitching wise. I think the only one that wasn't available was the kid. He was
Yeah,
unavailable
David's
to get pitched previously.
George. So your thoughts when Jeff Hoffman came out there? Like that's got to be the best game that guy's ever pitched in his life. I know he's pitched some pretty big games in Philadelphia in his past, but one,
But he
two,
proved,
three, and Cal High standing on the on deck circle. What were your
but he
Well,
thoughts?
well
It
he
was
well,
proved.
I mean,
Oh, go ahead, George.
well, let me tell you. I mean, we've seen some games where Hoffman's came in, and it should have been a sure win. It should have been a close time. And yeah, we've all been scared when Hoffman comes in, but he came in and he closed it down. Um, yeah, it's been scary sometimes, but it's a whole team effort, and we've got a team that's got a heart. And go Jays, go! That's all
Well,
I say.
I got a second part of this question for you, George. While watching those Jays celebrating on the field, what was your thoughts? Were you like come to tears? Did you remember go back to 1993, 92 and go, wow, is this surreal? Like, what were your thoughts watching? And who was it that you thought was you guys could chime in this as well. Who was you think the happiest on that field?
Well,
I'm gonna answer.
let me tell you, the first thing I thought is I'm buying a plane ticket home. I'm coming home to watch game 6 and 7 and the Jays winning. So that was my thoughts.
That's true. He's gonna take my son's room for a weekend.
There you
Very
go.
true. Um,
I I will say this: you asked the question of who I thought was the happiest,
yeah,
other than Vladimir Guerrero. I'm going to say Don Mattingly.
yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
well,
I think honestly,
Guerrero is who I was looking for, to be honest. But Don
think
Mattingly definitely
Don
that's
was,
his
if
first
you
time.
actually look at the coaching staff, they
Yeah.
all turned Don Mattingly. It was kind of a moment of
What about George? And he's the one that put us over, and he's the one that made it happen.
Well, his celebration happened when he hit that home run, I believe.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts, Joe, when you were watching that celebration by George Springer?
The most relieved was John Schneider for his boneheaded move of putting Little in and almost blowing the series for us 2 nights before. So I'm sure he had a better sleep because, man, that was a bad decision no matter which way you slice it. And Ken, you probably heard me swearing from my house. As soon as he put him in, I said, he's going to give up a home. I didn't even get home out of my breath. And a home run, game tied, and we blew it. So I'm sure the most relieved guy was John Schneider. But the one guy that stood out to me that I was more emotional than I thought was Kevin Gosman had tears in his eyes after, and I thought, wow, that's a guy that really, really has never been there before and is really appreciating the moment because the odds are he may not get there again in his career, right? So to see
Yeah.
him tear up, he's a pretty macho kind of outgoing guy. To see him tear up like that, Vladdy for sure, he's emotional. I get it. But for me, it was Kevin Gosman. I thought his reaction was something else.
Yeah, I agree. And I think
let's
as a backup, maybe Jimenez, he looked pretty cool
Yeah.
doing his prayer run from shortstop. And
let's talk
your
let's
thought,
talk about this. You savage. Holy, this kid has come in and been a non-stopper.
yeah,
This
well,
is savage.
we're definitely getting to Savage in a second because he's been
Okay.
announced as our number one pitcher for game one against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Actually, George, he's the second youngest pitcher that is ever going to start a game one in the World Series. And I believe the other guy, man was way back in like 1946. And that's why I cannot tell you his name. I did read it, but I couldn't say it twice. So that's very special for sure. Um, Anyway, Joe, your MVP for so far.
Well, I think Vladimir Guerrero Jr. rightly won just because of his hitting and timely hitting. I mean, 6 home runs, I think, is what he's had so far in the playoffs. And just his leadership. He seems to be the glue. Max Scherzer tipping pitches, Guerrero's right there telling him, Max, your glove, your glove. Little things like that where you can see he is the leader of that group. So for me, I mean, it's a tough call. It's a great problem to have between Springer and Vladdy and Clement and but I'm going to go with Vladdy for the so far.
Yeah. And Gord, before you tell me your MVP, tell me your feelings. Like, what were you doing when you got the Mad Max experience? John Schneider later said he thought he was going to actually kill him. But what was your thoughts when, like, everyone's heard of Mad Max, but I don't know if any of us as Jay fans have actually witnessed how mean he could really be when John Schneider came out, and we all thought he was old.
I don't think it was him being mean. I think it was showing his heart. He knew that he wanted the ball, plain and simple, and he was telling John Schneider, "No, I got this. I'm getting this out, and then if you're taking me out from there, I will understand." Maybe not in such nice language, but
I agree.
I think honestly, that's he knew he had it. He knew what he wanted to do. He said it himself. He had the pitch count. He had the calls. He knew what he was going to throw, and he knew he could do it. I think as much as everybody's calling him Mad Max, I think he was just passionate, and he knew he wanted to do this for this team and
Yeah.
get them rolling again.
100%. Without him playing in that series, I'm not sure we win.
And I am with Joe, honestly. There's could be multiple. Vladdy, George Springer, Alejandro Kirk, Marshall. I mean, you can go right down the lineup. These guys have all done so much to show it's a team. It's not
Yeah,
individuals anymore. Um, I mean, pitching wise, again, I couldn't even pick an MVP of them because again, they all came together as a unit. They're all talking. They're all doing multiple things. They're in the dugout. They're not supposed to be talking. They're going to Scherzer. They're going to Gosman. They're going to these guys. What do you got? What do you think? What are you looking at?
mhm.
They're. I just think it's a great atmosphere and great team that
Yeah,
playing together for one purpose, and that is to bring the championship back here to Toronto.
yeah. It's fun to watch as a fan for sure. It's been a great summer.
Did
Who
you
is your
hear that, Maple Leafs?
Who is your
I can hear
MVP?
you, Bill.
Did you
Well,
say Vladdy Guerrero, Gord? Is that your MVP?
Sorry, what's that?
Your MVP
I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with Joe and say Vladdy does deserve it overall, but I mean, for
with all
me,
the other
honestly, I'm
guys?
gonna say George Springer. Springer was my MVP for the longest time. He's done so much as a veteran. I'm gonna say George Springer.
Oh, we actually went with. I know you were away for a little bit on holiday, but we picked George Springer on the year, and you know what? I think he was more than warranted to be the MVP of the year. But Vladdy has really picked up his boots, so it's been awesome to watch. George, your MVP.
I'm going to say George. George Springer is my MVP. I think he carried the team from starting to end. He's been a valuable player throughout a whole season. He's stood up. He's had the best year that he's ever had this year.
Yeah,
And I not to take anything away from anybody else. There's like everybody says, Joe and Gord has said, there's a team effort, and George Springer is my MVP for the season.
yeah, I agree with you. He's the whole team could be MVP. I do
Yeah,
agree with that assessment. And George Springer, just from getting hit in the knee and coming up and having that big moment for us, and that's where we're at now, Joe. You're rank your top four home runs from this home run by Joe. Uh, I'm sorry, George Springer. The one by Joe Carter, touch them all, Joe. The Edwin and Carcion home run to the ALCS and the Joey Bats bat flip. So everyone keep them in mind and rank them for me. Joe, you first.
Well, Joe Carter, the first is always the best, and that was a team that was expected to win and would have been disappointing if they didn't. So that's number one. The bat flip for me is number two because that was a season that, if you remember, at the trade deadline, Anthopoulos brought in all these guys. We were a good team, and he brought in three or four players that just absolutely put us over the top, and we ran the table the last month of the season. And then to see Bautista do that I remember being in a bar and the place went absolutely crazy. So those two for me, and then there's a Roberto Alomar home run in there from 92, 93 that got us to where we needed to be against the Athletics.
Yeah,
So
that's a big one too.
and but I'll go with I'm going to go with George Springer put us in the World Series with the one swing of a bat. That's as big as Joe Carter for this generation. But the significance of it is the Jays weren't expected to be there this year. That's what makes it so special. Is no one would have bet their house that the Jays would be in the World Series. I don't know anybody. So that's what makes it so special for me.
Yeah, you're right. I really don't know anyone that had them even in a wild card position. And to be honest, especially
Yeah.
in their May swoon where they were actually under 500 that first
Guys,
month.
they were talking about
DFA.
Springer being DFA'd, not beginning because his batting average was. I mean, last year he was terrible. He's been terrible for a couple of years. Man, whatever he
That's
did
what
in the
makes him that much
offseason,
better. That's what
give
makes
me
him.
some of that. He was lights out all year.
He
David
was.
Ortiz said it perfectly to Derek Jeter. Whatever he did in the off season, he changed his game completely
Yeah.
around with the swing. He wasn't leaning as much. He was standing more upright. And whatever he did proved the point that whoever in the organization changed his off-season workout plan and got
Mhm.
him back doing that
I
deserves.
Gord, I like to add the fact that he was designated hitter most of the season and didn't have to worry about playing outfield. At first, I thought Springer's not going to really like that, but I really do think that also benefited him. So let's get your top four. I mean, Joe
I
brought
gotta
up
go.
Alomar, so that's an option as well.
I gotta go one A, one B with Joe Carter and George Springer. Honestly, it's kind of right there, like Joe said. Joe Carter, that team was built to win, and nobody, I don't think anybody had the Jays making the World Series this year at all, or even wild card playoffs at all. Um, Joey Bats was, I think, was a proven point at that point because he had enough of the trash talk that was going on from the other side.
From
And
Texas.
again, Roberto Alomar hitting it off Dennis Eckersley, of all pitchers that you hit it off of, was again another moment of an aha moment of we're making it, we're going, and you in Oakland, it's time to pass the torch and for us to move on. I did like Edwins, but I got to put it at the bottom, honestly.
Yeah, it was nice, but for sure it was fun watching them do walk the parrot around the field as it always was. George, your thoughts on
Well,
did they read the list or
it's kind of hard to follow that. I mean, they mentioned everything that you can mention, and I'm good with following the suit with everybody, everything that they said. But hey, let's face it, bats make runs, pitchers stop runs. So hey, with our pitching that was going on, that put us through there and to here.
I got a separate another question for you, George. Actually, it's for everyone, but I'll start with you. The Jays are going into this series as underdogs. What's your thoughts on that?
Good.
What's my thoughts?
Yeah,
Well, I'm coming to watch Game 6 and the Jays win, and I'm at a parade. That's my thoughts.
Um,
Nobody's sweeping nobody. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight, and Game 6, Jays win.
I
I
like.
I I'm gonna say the same thing that Joe said. Good for this purpose. When you have the payroll that the LA Dodgers have and the
Yeah,
payroll that we have, the big difference is they're all about money and we're all about heart. We want to bring it here. They're coming into town thinking they're gonna roll all over us just like we
not
did.
a chance.
And I got news
Overconfident.
for you. There's nine guys that are intending to hit. and one 22-year-old kid that says, "Not in our house."
Honestly, Gord, I think you're right. I believe the Seattle Mariners, their fans thought they were rolling over us after those first two
They
games.
did.
And
They did. All we have to say is, Shohei Ohtani, you can hop on your plane and go back to LA without your championship.
let's talk about that,
Goodbye.
Joe. Let's talk about that. Your thoughts on Mason Fluharty striking out Shohei Ohtani. And that's actually, guys, when we won that game, we ended up with one more win against and than the Dodgers did this season. And the reason why we're hosting this, and it comes down to that Mason Fluharty striking out Shohei Ohtani with two runners on and up by one after Ernie Clement took their closer deep.
Listen, the best hitter only hits 3 out of 10. So, 3, 4 out of 10 at bats. So that's good. But listen, Shohei Ohtani's something else, right? I mean, you gotta, if the Jays are smart and pitch like they pitched Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh, they should have no problem. But if there's going to be times they're going to have to pitch to him. But if they're going to go out there thinking they're going to strike out Shohei Ohtani, that guy is something else. You can't deny his talent, and you don't want to let him beat you. So I think the Jays are smarter than that, and they'll figure out ways to not let him hurt you. You know what? Let him clog up the bases. Go stand on first. Just, you don't want him teeing off home runs because, I mean,
I
three in
think
one game.
to your testament, Joe, I think the Jays were actually one of the most in the league this year for actually walking people on four pitches. The intentional walk, we Schneider used that as a tool quite often.
Yep.
Do you think, Joe, that the Jays are going to be able to hit this Los Angeles pitching like Shohei Tani, Tired Glasnow? Who else is there? Blake
No.
Snell, which is their pitcher, the big black.
Yes, now.
The Jays have seen Snell a lot over the years,
What's
and
that going to be like?
I think the Jays can hit good pitching. What I like about the Jays hitters is they make adjustments. So by the second and third time they're seeing that pitcher again, that's when they start, not necessarily the first inning, but if you notice by the fifth and sixth inning, they start to figure them out because they're always watching the iPad. They're always talking amongst each other. When you got Max Scherzer and Shea Bieber watching what the other pitcher's doing and going up to you as a hitter and saying, watch for this, I know what he's going to do, what an advantage that is. So what I like about the Jays is they got the ability to adjust to good pitching. So yeah, I think they can hit good pitching. They've proven that all year. Are there going to be innings and games where they're going to struggle? Yeah, absolutely, but only once because when they see that pitcher again, I'll guarantee you they'll have his number for the next time.
George, we've already gotten your prediction on this series, but what's your game one prediction?
My game one prediction? That's a hard one, Ken. I mean, this is a hard team. Everybody's got heart. So, I don't want to say. I'm not going to say.
You can just say
I'm going to say Jays game one. That's all I'm saying.
Gord, are you going to be break the superstition belt that George is holding up for us? Can you give us a final score in this game? I understand totally. I don't want to be the guy saying the score either.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Ken. I'm not breaking that tradition. I'm sorry. I honestly don't know. I agree with Joe. I think if you look at who is sitting watching what is going on from the other pitcher, and you have these veteran players that are speaking up, and you've got the coaching staff literally glued to the other pitcher, little kind of arm movement or a little flick of his wrist or little kind of things. By the time that George Springer gets up there for the second time, he's changed his whole philosophy of going up there. They did the same thing in Seattle. They did it in New York. It was little tiny movements or something that the pitcher's making as regular people we're not looking for. But you see Max Scherzer's constantly moving in that bullpen. He's constantly talking. George Springer's glued when the Jays are in the field. He's standing on the second or top step. He's watching little movements from the batters and things like that. When they're coming back in after 3 outs, it's like a group meeting. This guy's doing this, watch this. This guy's going to take off on you running guaranteed. it's little things like that. When you got a group atmosphere like that, I honestly, I'll say the Jays will win game one, but I'm not giving you a score because I couldn't even
Fair
guess
enough.
what's gonna go on.
I just go ahead, George.
Wouldn't it be nice to see Bo in the lineup?
He
He
will
is
be.
going to be.
He's
That's
going
what
to
I
There
be
you
wanted
in
to
go.
lineup
say.
in
He's
game
going to
one.
play
There you
second base.
go. There's the
Thumbs
man.
up for Bobby
Because
Sett.
if he was in the whole season, he would be my MVP.
But
Thumbs
George,
up to Bobby Sett, right,
George,
guys?
Yeah.
he's not going to be starting at shortstop for game one.
No,
Second
that's
base.
fine.
He's
But if he
making
was
it.
in the whole season, he'd be my MVP.
They're taking Santander out of the field, and George Springer's going to be
Well,
playing.
Santander, he
Gone.
wasn't allowed to come back because he was pulled of the last series. So I think it's probably going to be a pitcher coming out, most likely
Little.
Rodriguez, to replace him because we are going to need our
Take
lefties.
Ringo.
So
We
that's
couldn't
why
get that
Little is
lucky
now
for
going to be
full
in there.
time to
But
move up.
anyway, guys, let's wave the flag. Wave the flag. Let's go
I don't
Blue
have a
Jay.
flag.
Let's ring their bells. And let's get some big Springer dingers, some Vladdy bombs, and let's celebrate this World Series and have tons of fun with it. Guys, if you want to come back here and say after game 4, and let's do this again and see where we're at. What do you guys think?
Absolutely, if I
Man,
can.
Awesome. Okay, let's go Blue Jays.
go
Let's go
Jays,
Blue
go!
Jays.
My name's Ken Judge. We're here on Ken's Corner Podcast with Joe Moyer, Gordon Bell, and George Garbutt. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you analyzing for me. Yeah, let's go Blue Jays, and can't wait. My words are being tied in my mouth because I just can't wait. Awesome, surreal World Series, boys. Let's do this.
See you soon,
Let's
Ken.
go.
See you soon, Ken. I'll be in your hometown Thursday morning.
There you go, Joe. You better come over and watch an inning.
How you get tickets?
At my house, from my couch.
I'm at his house, or your house, or your house.
Okay, guys. Thanks a lot again. Have a great
Enjoy, guys.
Have a good one, guys.